Hivyo mbele yangu.
Ndio unataka kuchapa jirani. Because I was like, okay, now what are these kids about? But before that, he just comes, removes it and puts it on my face. He's like, look at this.
They teach them that they are allowed to say no, even to familiar people, even to people they know. When they're teens, it's even more complex. You're the same adult. You're the same adult.
Me, I only say mama. Even dad, I'll just touch on it. If I ask a question, I'm going to be explaining. Yeah, that's interesting. So now in this world of technology, how are we like protecting our kids from the phones?
Yeah. And welcome to Unfiltered Tribe Podcast with me, Linda.
And me, Latifa. And we have a special guest today. She's going to introduce herself.
Yeah.
But before she does, we just want to let you know what we're going to be talking about today. Which is child safety and protection. How we can safely protect our children, because it's up to us as parents to do that, especially us moms. I feel that's our biggest job ever. So now we have a specialist here who's going to be telling us how we can do that in a healthy and safety way. Okay, you can introduce yourself.
So nice to be here. My name is Elizabeth. I am a child educator and a child protection advocate. My business is children, and at my core, I am fiercely protective of them. How did you get yourself here? Was it before or after you became a mom? It was actually before. So at the beginning of my career, I went into the schools, which meant that I was exposed to too many children and too many families.
What ages?
From 2 years old, 2.5 onwards, till around 8 years. So the exposure to many kids, I realized it kept on dawning on me that there are so many cases of child abuse. And the problem is, a lot of cases that we found out, the children never spoke about it or didn't know what to do. With the same measure, there were so many parents who, if they knew something happened, didn't know how to respond. And if they didn't know what happened, if you asked them, if this happened, what would you do? Most of them would go blank. So that's when I saw that need, and I was like, we need to protect our children, and it starts from awareness. So that's how it started.
That's insane, Because me, I know before I had kids, I never even thought about anything that had to do with kids. I said, I know, see, your major was in children. I think that. So I think after having kids is when I started like...
You're in that world
because I was like, okay, now what are these kids about? But before that, it was like, I didn't even want to be around kids, you know. They were annoying, loud, and just... Especially, I know all the toddlers always have snot coming out of the cough on your face. So for me, they were like, no. It's until you have kids, it's when, okay, like now you have to be interested in that, in whatever it's going on. That's interesting. So you have a child.
Yes.
You have a 2-year-old.
Yes, my daughter is 2 years old. She turned 2 just a month ago.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So now what are we supposed to do now to protect our kids from child abuse?
So when it comes to child abuse, the most important thing is prevention. You don't want to do anything after it's happened. Okay. So the main thing is prevention. We always say, create awareness so that we avoid these things from happening. And when it comes to child abuse, you need to know that it doesn't start from ati mtoto akiwa mkubwa when they are older. You start when they're young. And child safety is not a one-time conversation. It starts when they're young, and then inaenda ikiongezeka slowly by slowly, and you start when they're toddlers.
So true.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we are 2.
When they're 2.5, they're about, you start 2.5, start the conversation. But it's very different. Like we both have 2-year-olds.
Yeah, because I was about to say, how do I converse with my 2? We all have 2-year-olds. How do I start talking to a 2-year-old?
My daughter is 2. So when they're 2 years old, they're children, they're too young, their understanding is not good. So what you start with, you start with helping children know the names of their private parts. That's where you start from.
So the real name or PP or Baba?
Hakuna PP, hakuna, I hear people say, sijui kadudu.
Bam, bam,
No.
So, like, it's just so many names,
You use the real name of private parts. Like this is the same way you teach them head, shoulder, knees, and toes. Very casually with no additional information.
Yeah.
Like maybe when you're you're showering or wearing clothes, what's this? This is your breast. Touch your breast. Every time you shower, you say breast. Because you see, it's just normal. They won't have, there's nothing extra you're adding behind. But you want them to know the real names of private parts. And the reason why this is the foundation and why it's very, very important is because in case anything happens, which we pray it doesn't, then a child is able to communicate clearly. Because you see, predators thrive in secrecy, in anonymity, in confusion. But right now, when they're two, they say, Mami, ulanishika hapa, alinishika breast. But anaweza sema, no, I didn't. But akisema, alinishika breast.
You know that's like, the name.
You're sure that's it.
You know?
So that's the foundation. When you start teaching private parts, you teach them the name of their private parts. And also the second reason why it's very important is because we want to take away the shame around private parts.
It's true.
Growing up, I'm sure most of us
it's true. Yeah, we were not allowed to say the real names.
And because there was shame around it, shame around them growing, shame around like you didn't even know the
shame around everything.
So that's what you're trying to take away, so that they know the same way this is my vagina, this is my breast, this is my buttocks. It's the same way this is my head.
That's true, by the way.
Like,
why
it is a body part,
a body part.
Just because it's private doesn't make it less of a body part. It is a body part.
And when it takes away the shame, it means if something happens, they will confidently say, the same man agongangwa mkono anasema, mami nasikia uchungu hapa. Atakwambia, mami nasikia uchungu kwa vagina, ama nasikia uchungu hapa. Because there's no shame around it. So those are the two main reasons why we say teach children the real names. One, so that in case of anything, there can be clear communication. We've had so many cases where the only reason the predator was not sent is because
what is
you know. So it's important. And then taking away the shyness from it, the shame, because there's no shame in our body. And then the second thing you have to teach them when they're young, that their body belongs to them. You know, so you even have like a song or something like, whose body is this? My body. This is my body. No one should touch them. So you can sing the body safety songs. They can't understand clearly, but it's a foundation. It's a foundation and a good start. So those are the first things you start with, and then you build on slowly. So later on we'll discuss about that, but you build on pole and make sure it's age appropriate. So that how confused mtoto, how mshtui, but you're still able to create a foundation. Pole too.
Because that's very important. You talked about them not being shy about their body parts. I'm grateful, I think, for my kids. I've been doing that to the point they are open in sharing like what's happening to their bodies. But you know, they're two boys. So especially my first son, who is 5 years old, oh my gosh, if something just happens, he just comes, removes it and puts it on my face. He's like, look at this. And I know for me, what I'm struggling is my struggle is to maintain my cool and not act uncomfortable,
like,
you know? So now I'm so uncomfortable. That thing on my face, and I'm supposed to look, mama, it's itchy here. Or it's here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to look. But I'm just like, I can see, no, touch it and see how it feels. Because it feels, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think for me, that's it. Because they are open. I've raised them to be very, very open. But so now it's my problem now. I'm the one who like
and you
really
have to go
needs.
On with that.
I know. I really have to. And the stories is just come and tell me like out of nowhere. Like I just remember just a few days ago, I was changing my 2-year-old's diaper. And he had an erection. They have erections, by the way, even when they're babies. When they're young, they have it. It's not a sexual erection. It's more of an environmentally, like, you know, if it's cold or whatever. So I was changing and erecting. I was like, I just have to, I'm like, oh my gosh. So, and then my 5-year-old is like, mine also does that, mama. Mine also, sometimes I'll just be chilling and it will just come up. And I'm like, I do not want to hear this.
How do you have
And then I know. And I'm just there and I have to look like it's an interesting topic. I have to engage. Because I don't want to tell them like, shut up, I don't want to hear about it. No, I have to be like, oh really? And I have to tell them like, okay, that's natural. You know, that's how it's supposed to be. And thank you for sharing. Now let's talk something about it.
Let's change the topic.
I know.
I think for me then I'm gonna do it differently because honestly I've been teaching Bam Bam and PP and I'm like, now he's at an age where he touches and he identifies with that. So I just want to turn that around and be like, that's your penis. To say your buttocks. Not, you know,
as we call it, the dick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they call it. Literally, I think maybe they got it from their dad because their dad is the one who tells them what it's called, you know. So that's the thing when you're two parents. Now you have to like coordinate tunaitaiki tu nini.
That's true.
Uasite, anaita differently, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow. And also something you've mentioned is about the fear. That's a very common thing. As parents, we have, you're like, how do you start this conversation? Hey, why are we talking about these things?
Especially if it's an opposite gender. I don't think I will react the same if it's a vagina because I'm familiar with it.
That's what
but just because it's my boys and it's just a different, and I'm just
I feel the same way.
I don't. Especially when I'm changing the diaper and sometimes I'm like, oh my God. Because you have to pull it down so that you can put the diaper. And I'm like, why do I have to go through this? And it's just, okay, it's normal. I have to get used to it. They're my kids. If I don't do that, who else is going to do it?
Yeah, it's true. And there's something I've just remembered we usually tell parents is kids pick on our emotional cues. So when a parent tells me, okay, I can't have this safety conversation with my child, like how do I start talking that someone can abuse them, someone can do this? But I always say, the first thing is parents, children, take our emotional cues. So if you tell something with anxiety and fear, they will pick it. And then the conversation you'll have, they'll have fear in them. But if you're talking about something, even if deep down you're like, but if you talk, you just create a face and be calm and confident. What happens is children pick it up. And then they take that conversation as very normal and reassuring. So you could be talking about safety, but they won't panic because kids pick up everything we do. Yeah. So they'll be like, oh yeah, so you'll just ask them, so if someone tells you this and this, what will you do? I will say this and this and this because you're already calm and confident. So they'll take it as it is. Yeah. So that's the first thing we usually say, be calm and confident. Even if deep down you're nervous, you don't know what to say, just be calm. They will pick it. So create calmness, confidence, they'll pick reassurance. And this body safety will be a very normal conversation.
I want to know a song on body safety, honestly, so I can start singing. So maybe we can have
I had them singing. I forgot. Like, I had my son singing. They were taught in school. Yeah. Like, you don't touch me there. It's uncomfortable. Something like that. Yeah. Like, no, stop. Don't touch. It's making me uncomfortable. Something like that. I heard him singing it. Yeah.
I want to start singing as well. So don't touch. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay. But I've had that conversation with my son. Because, you know, these days it's not just women. It's not girls that are getting sexually abused. It's also the boys, you know. So every time I have this conversation with him, like if somebody touches your dick, tell me. If somebody touches your bum, tell me. You know, they're not supposed to be touching you. They're not. These are the areas that nobody's supposed to be touching you. But ever since I told him that every day, Mama, this one touched me here. Mama, this one touched me here. Mama, this one every day, and I have to and I have to act interested because one day it's gonna be another part. I don't want to shun him off. So it's like, Mama, this girl touched my head. She touched my head. I'm like, did that make you feel uncomfortable? Did you like it? It's like, yeah, I liked it. Like, boy. So like, so like you just, it's just a conversation. It's easier when they're older, like 6-year-old, because I'm the only one with a 6-year-old. I know you can't relate. But I know with my 2-year-old, I can't do that. But with a 6-year-old, so with my 2-year-old, he doesn't leave that house unless it's like me or the dad, or like I'm taking him to my grandparents' house.
Me, I'm even scared of not just even the older people, even the kids who are like 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7. Like even when he's outside playing, anytime he complains of something, I'm always like, oh my gosh, did someone, you know, because sometimes even the most inappropriate things you can be shown are not even by an adult, but by the kids. You know, so I'm always like, oh my gosh, like this is...
Do you send him outside by himself?
No, never. Always with me, the dad or the nanny. I like, maybe it's just the anxiety in me that's always like, wow, what if the nanny ameenda kushika simu? Like if it's true, not me, even if it's the dad, sorry, but as long as if it's not me, I'm always having like, you know, like what if uzubai kidogo and something happens? You know, it's crazy. That's
and the interesting part is those C2C child-to-child sexual abuse cases actually there. Just recently, as 2 months ago, we went to a school, and very sadly enough, there was a grade 4 child who was being abused by the brother.
His own brother?
Yes, I don't know if it's a step, but it's by a brother.
Boys.
No.
Oh, girl.
Yes. So as much as we would like to think it's just adult, it can happen anywhere. That's why you're told, be vigilant at all times. One, if you can avoid sleepovers, especially places that you're not sure, just avoid. Because yes, you would know the adults. Do you know the children?
True,
Are you sure what? Because interestingly, how have they been raised? Some children are exposed to very inappropriate content at an early age. They may think, I want to try and see what this is, very innocently. So that's why you're told, be vigilant at all times, because it can happen anywhere. And the craziest thing is majority of the abuse does not happen from strangers.
That's the thing. It's never from to who drew him to.
Yeah, because all the cases we hear is an uncle and auntie. It's like it's always a family member. Yeah,
it's always someone close, a family member, a relative, a neighbor.
Scary. Because imagine trusting your child with someone, and then that someone is the one that ends up, scarring your child. Yeah. Okay, so now 2 years, you just tell them the body parts, how you progress to.
So you start off with, so there are 3 foundations. We start with 1. There are 3 core conversations around body safety. And the first one is body ownership and boundaries. Okay. So when they're younger, when they're 2, you start with just the names. Right now, they don't understand much. Just the names of private parts. And you can even sing songs. Like with my daughter, we usually sing, if you touch my private parts, I will tell. And then she does, I will tell.
Oh,
so
nice.
She doesn't even understand it, to be honest. But she'll understand it later. But we just sing. So akisikia someone go, I will tell. So you start with simple. Always remember again, age appropriate. You don't want to overwhelm a child. And you don't also have these conversations at all at once, kidogo kidogo. So you start with that. Then now you expand a little. Maybe now there are 3, 4, 5. You now start to help them understand about body ownership clearly. Usually when we go to school, we ask them, whose body is this? And then they say, mine. Who's the boss of your body? I'm the boss. So they know this is their body. And then you now teach them about the boundaries. So we said body ownership and boundaries. You're allowed to say no, okay? So they know they're allowed to say no. We are always taught, especially our generation, to respect adults. Mtu mzima akikwambia kitu unafanya sawa. And that exposed a lot of children to abuse because an adult said something.
Yeah.
You do what you do.
Kanataka kuhug that person. Salimia huyo mtu. Na sisi unapata uncle anahaga kiku. Exactly. You're forced to.
Unamforce. Ambao ni uncle yako mhug.
So I also teach K not to, like, you don't have to. Hata naambia the adults, like, kusimforce, like, kahataki, he just takes time to
and why are you forcing a hug from a child? Why do you want a
child's hug that?
Yeah, because even for me, they are my own kids. And if I go for a kiss and my kid says no, I back up. I don't force it na mtoto wangu. So, you shouldn't do the same. Yeah.
So that's actually a very important lesson because that's in the part of ownership and boundaries. Teach them to say no, and they're allowed to say, teach them that they're allowed to say no, even to familiar people, even to people they know or like. If anything they're doing is something they don't want or something you've taught them is not right or something makes them feel uncomfortable or confused. Remember, there's something that can be done that you've never taught, but it's confusing to a child. Teach them to say no and run or come to you. So then in the boundaries, that's when now you have to also practice that. If an adult comes in and wants to hug them, even if it's their favorite uncle or auntie, and they don't want a hug, what you do is say, it's okay, and then give them options. Do you want to give them a high five or you just want to wave at them? I want to wave. Wave. Tell auntie hi. That's it. They learn that they are also allowed to say no, and then they are respected as well. So then if anything happens, they'll have the confidence to say, no, I don't want this. And they'll tell you, Nani forced me to hug them or they forced me to do that. And then crazy thing, predators dislike loud and confident children. Kabisa.
Because they're the ones who they can share.
You're calling them out. But if they sense, so it seems like they can be quiet, that's their target.
Oh my God.
Because grooming happens before even the thing, whatever happens, it starts, they analyze who's this child, can they speak up, can I silence them? It starts from that. So that's why we say it's body ownership and boundaries. So if there are 3, now you start enhancing, you tell them, this is your body. When they get to around 5, 6, now you start discussing importance of okay and not okay touch. And at the same time, okay, not okay, and uncomfortable or confusing touch. So tell them, if someone touches your private part, is that okay? No. But if someone gives you a high five, is that okay? That's okay. And if someone does anything that you're not so sure about or you're confused, that is not okay. And you come to me and tell me. So
it can even be like a tap on their shoulder or
if they felt uncomfortable, that's okay. Crazy story. When I was in primary school, actually I was talking to my friend about it like a week ago. I remembered it now. There was this staff who would always carry us from here. Then no one had ever taught me about anything, but deep down I always felt like, hey, is he supposed to lift us like that? But you're innocent, you're like, okay, there's nothing about it. You know.
Gosh.
Always, and I remember so vividly, he would always lift us. You know how you can lift a child from here, but he would always lift us up from here. But that's not right. That's crossing boundaries. But if I knew, I would have gone and told Mom, you know, ule nani alikuwa anatuinua hivi. You know, alikuwa anatubebanga hivi. Na si mimi pekee, like, you'd like, oh, and then you think it's fun. But deep down I knew it's confusing. So that's what you teach a child. If anything feels uncomfortable or confusing, you come to me. Run to me.
Yes. Because me, I even tell my son, if somebody tells you something and they tell you it's a secret between me and you, run and come and tell me.
Immediately.
I always tell my son, nobody, you should never keep secrets from mama. I went ahead because I think this was really like, I had so much anxiety that I was like even willing to bribe him. I was like, if you just come and tell me and I will reward you. And then I can see him light up. You reward me, like, you know, because, you know, that's the age. That's what works for them. That's what will motivate him, I feel, to come and tell me. Because like, why am I telling you and it's a secret? I'm like, just come and tell mama. There's no secrets between you and mama. If somebody tell you, don't say this is a secret, run to me and come and tell me. Because, you know, that's definitely something shady. If they're telling you to keep a secret from your mom.
Gosh, I'm just realizing even growing up, we were never told about it, an uncomfortable feeling.
Like we never taught this
but who unambia nani, like what was that?
Where do you start?
Nobody had that conversation with us. Nobody.
Completely ignored.
And another thing I also do with my, like, I remember when I first had my nanny and my kid was like young and, you know, it's the first nanny, I don't know her that well. When she leaves, I like do a full body checkup. Even uko nani nafungwa miguu naangalia. Like, does anything look out of place?
That's me.
Like, does anything look out of place? And I'm like, you know, I remember my partner sometimes like, you're being so weird, like doing this. I'm like, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Like, I'm the only one who can actually do this. Nobody can do it. You don't want to do it because you feel it's weird. But there's nobody else. I
have to get past the weirdness.
I know you have. That's one thing when having kids. You have to get past a lot of weirdness. You're gonna look weird. You're gonna be doing stuff, and you're just like, this is it's like, what the hell are you doing to your child? But it's like, if I don't do it,
then
who is gonna do it?
Like, you know how there are families where abuse happens, you know, and it's like a small baby, maybe a toddler, and it's maybe even the dad doing it. Like, I wonder, like, sometimes at the back of my mind, I'm like, I have the moms checked. Like, is it that you cannot recognize? Is it like
you
what?
Can't. Remember on the group when that mama said, I checked my baby girl, and she said she saw like the hymen has been broken.
And this is like a 6-month-old.
A 6-month-old. Anasema every time akimwacha na babake. Every time I live with the dad, I come back and I open and I see like it looks like it doesn't look correct because it's a vagina. Now she knows how it's like a 6-month-old.
Imagine a 6-month-old. That's
so imagine if she didn't check.
It would have gone on.
No ni baba mtoto. Like uni the person who sired that baby. So we just wonder like, or mtu akona like you're a single mom and then maybe you start dating and then now that man starts.
No.
Like there've been situations of this influencer who was even doing videos and then at the background unasikia watoto akisema stop nini and her she was still continuing. Then ikaendelea like she divorced him because the husband was actually abusing both the son and the daughter. So watu wana replay like those videos. Watu wako usikie mtoto wako akisema stop, you don't wanna go and check and see like what's happening with, you know, like how long have you been silent for you ufike hapo useme, you know.
That's why I think like I'm like if I ever date again, like I don't think, oh my gosh, will I ever introduce my kids to this man? Sometimes I'm like,
what kind of man is this?
Oh,
and men can pretend.
That's the thing.
Hey,
People
can know a
pretend.
person.
Yeah.
And another thing, nimeona sometimes, especially if a man approaches you while you have your kid, sometimes you're not the target. It's the kid is the target. Mimi mwanzo mtu kama natembea na mtongo mwanamke kina approach na kimbia because why are you approaching me when I have a child?
Yeah.
This is not that time for you to approach me.
Like respect my child.
Because immediately looking approach while I'm working with my kids, I just know the target is my kids, not me. Because if it's me, you will go and say, I don't have kids. Oh my gosh, this world. People are wicked out there.
It's terrible.
So like, what are the signs to tell if a child has been abused?
So when a child is abused, a lot of times their behavior tells us first. Before they speak up, before they say anything, you will notice with their behavior. And there are quite a number of them, but a few of the common signs we've seen with children who have been abused is one, withdrawal, or it feels like they're depressive, but let's call it withdrawal. You'll find other times they would wake up and go sit there and talk. Suddenly, they don't want to speak. All of a sudden, they don't even want company of someone. Like they've just withdrawn significantly. And we always say it's sudden and very significant. Like you can't assume it. That's a very common one. Another common sign that you see is sudden fear or excuse when it comes to certain people. Maybe it's the uncle who abused them. I'm not saying it's just an example.
Yeah,
so anytime you go to the uncle's place, they're like, staki kwenda kwa uncle. Mi leo staki kwenda kwa uncle. And you're like, twende unasumbua, abu twende. Lakini all of a sudden, anasema staki kwenda. They're not saying what, but they're like, staki kwenda, mi staki kwenda. Ama all of a sudden, anytime you're leaving, they're sick. Naumwa na tumbo, my stomach is aching, my head is aching. They're constantly sick. Anytime you want to leave the house, figure something. Just retract back. So that's another very, very, very common sign. Another common sign that you often see is disturbed sleep, and sometimes they regress and bedwet. A child was not bedwetting. A child was, she's maybe even 8, 7, 6, 5, they're no longer bedwetting. But suddenly they have nightmares at night, they keep on crying at night, or they're bedwetting. Even at labda hakuna nightmare, but they're bedwetting. Something, try and figure out why are they bedwetting. A child can't just regress just like that, unless maybe there's a medical condition or something like that. So regression is also another common thing. So regression happens, you find there's bedwetting, or you find that they start to stammer. They were speaking fluently, they're now stammering. Or they had formed languages, now they're not speaking very well. That's anxiety building because they're very anxious. So there are quite a number, but these are some of the common signs you see. Another, you see change in behavior. Maybe they become very aggressive. They become, mara unaambia, siku hizi anachapana shule. Siku hizi, like a behavior that is not usual. This is usually a child crying for help. We always say behavior is communication, which means figure out what's wrong. However, don't assume. It could be something else. Yeah. But anytime you see some of these behaviors, first do this, calm yourself down, be very observant. Check their body. Observe their pattern and confirm, yes, this is happening. They look withdrawn, they're bedwetting, they're doing these things, and then now build a very, very intentional relationship with them. Because sometimes when kids don't speak up, they're speaking up because they don't feel safe or they don't know what to say. Yeah. So you need to now then build a very close relationship with them and try and help them know that you're their safe space. You can have very open-ended questions like, I've noticed you look like you're not feeling well. Are you okay? Is there something you'd like to tell me? Please know Mommy will always believe you. Mommy will always listen to you. And Mommy will always be here for you all the time. Okay? So those are the signs, some of the signs you may see. But the point is, if you see any sudden and very aggressive change in behavior in a child, especially withdrawal, refusing to, all of a sudden, they're suddenly sick when you go to see someone, regression in behavior like bedwetting, please stay alert, because even if it's not abuse, there could be something else. Yeah.
There has to, yeah. Gosh.
Oh my gosh. She's saying stammering. We have a baby in our compound who just started stammering, and they said it's like this crane, so it's just like it hit, and I'm like,
Or he just sudden all of a sudden he never used to stammer.
She never used to stammer. She used to speak so well. She's about 5 turning 5. Then all of a sudden she started stammering. So now she's getting better. So I don't know. I never knew that.
Maybe it could be screen time. So that's where you're told, because you don't know what it is, don't assume, so that you also don't panic. It could be maybe what as they're saying, maybe it's screen time. Maybe it's even something, maybe there's a medical condition. Maybe it's other reason. Maybe it could also be this. It could be that the child is getting very anxious. They're feeling insecure and anxious. So it affects how they speak. So
I pray I never miss the signs. I pray I'm never the mom who's like forcing without like really slowing down and understanding that this might be a cause of something else. You know,
I feel like this is something that as parents and as mom, we have to teach ourselves also, like, you know, to not just assume or just like that's nothing, you know, sometimes you just like that. But I don't know, for me it's different, because for me, if my child comes with something, I always think of the worst case scenario first. I really have, like she said, I have to calm myself down. Mine shoots up to 100. Like I'm always overthinking to the point where I remember somebody asked me, like, have you ever been abused? Have you ever gone through any traumatic experience? Because if something happens, I always shoot at 100, which is funny because I kind of had like a fairy tale childhood when I was growing up. No abuse whatsoever. My childhood was basically like, you know, a breeze. So I don't know where this comes from. I really don't know. I think so. So like I've become very paranoid. I've realized like the risks I used to take before becoming a mom, like in zile vitu nilikuwa nafanya mpaka utaniuliza like, how are you alive right now? Right now I cannot even do them because just, you know, you're always thinking of your kids. Even when the car is speeding fast, you're like, oh my gosh, like, this guy wants to kill me. I know sometimes you even tell the driver, I become that mom. I know. Oh
gosh, that's parenthood and motherhood sana. Because I feel like uspo kuwa that paranoid, like you're literally the advocate of your child. Like uspo mongelea, no one else has that sense apart from you. Like no one else anaweza fikiria worst case scenario na mtoto wako. You know, like, because nakumbuka, gosh, this was like ilisha vibaya. The uncle who ended up killing the kid mwenye alimrusha kwa balcony because he was abusing her, I think. Alafu akakataa that day. And this is brother you the mom. Like, how do you not see, like, how, guys, it's crazy. Like, it's that world, and you know this is important to tell your kids. Niambie kitu happen and you don't ignore. Gosh.
And I think when you're having that conversation around body ownership and boundaries, the second most important conversation to have with your child is about emotions and communication. So you teach them, you know, about emotions. You know, some things can feel confusing, some things can feel exciting, some things can feel like this. But if anything feels in a way that is sad or you can't explain, you always come to me. And then now you bring the foundation of it, connection. You connect with your child. Because I always say, if your child makes very small mistakes, alivunja glass by mistake, which we all break glasses, alianguka literally, and you overreact, you beat that child senselessly, you insult them. God tells you, they will tell you. If something as challenging, confusing as abuse happens to them, they will not speak.
Because it's something simple like that, we already like. Imagine. And you know how sometimes we are, like, I don't know, from our Swahili community, it's like, ukivunja kitu nakwambia, shika na hizi, vunja zote. They always overreact about everything. It has never been like,
I don't remember being told that ever. Like,
and I had to teach myself that because you know we are who we were raised. Like the way we were raised, sometimes we have to like undo. We have to undo it because sometimes I see myself reacting like the way my dad would or the way my mom would, and I don't want to do that because I want to try the gentle parenting. So akivunja glass, like I'm so pissed and annoyed, and like I just have to be like, it's okay. Are you hurt? And I'm like, like, are you hurt? He's like, no, then like, let's just move and then, you know, I'll clean it up. You know, I just have to like it's tough, but you just have to teach yourself.
Same, like you have to heal and learn all that. Kwanza is raising someone else, because now you're gonna be the one utaki kuapia reason ya ku-unlearn all the things you've unlearned, you know. Hata mi ujiavoidisha, like when he does something, I'm always like, staki kumhit, staki ku-react, like I have to calm myself, like, pana, like, hey.
And sometimes I have to tell myself, is it my fault? Where was that glass?
Exactly. Like what if ilikuwa?
Where was that glass? Because it's up to me to put the glasses. Because I remember one time, I just left my keys for like, just to go pee. I just went to pee. I came down. My 2-year-old found a marker pen and drew the whole couches.
Oh my gosh.
So it was bad. Yeah, it was bad. I know everybody who saw those photos were like, are you okay? Is the kid okay? I'm like... So I'm like, it was my fault. Like, where was that marker pen?
Yeah.
Like I left the marker pen laying around. Yeah. So, you know, I feel for us sometimes we expect kids to act as adults and they're kids.
Their minds are not.
He's a 2-year-old. Of course, if he sees a marker, he's going to draw. He's not going to be like, this is a marker pen. Let me go find a book, sit down and write on the book. No. He's a 2-year-old. Yeah. He found a canvas in the couches. And I was like, this is the perfect time. Drew everywhere. And I even clapped for myself. I'm like, gosh, I didn't even react. Because I'm like, I didn't even react. I was like, it's okay. We'll just watch the couch. Where's the marker pen? Just give me the marker pen. I just want to put it. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. Because me namwambia, Killian, you drew the couch. And he's just like, He's like, look, Mama. I don't see anything that I've done wrong, you know? So that's the thing.
Okay. I think I always say connection. Yeah. So a lot of times we say we want to stick in one road, you know, one way. You know, you need to be mtoto yuko discipline, but there needs to be balance. I keep on saying warmth and connection can coexist as much as firmness and boundaries. They can both coexist, you know. You can be very firm and your child knows boundaries and they're disciplined, while still being the most loving and warm parent to that child. If they break a glass, it doesn't mean that you won't, you know, maybe it was intentional, maybe emotional, don't run, they keep on doing. You know, it doesn't mean that you'll be like, I'm even a glass, it's okay. No, but ameanguka, will you start hitting them first before checking if they're okay? Maybe they hurt themselves, you know. But a lot of times as you're like, unapigwa kwanza, alafu kisha pigwa ndo unauliza uko sawa.
No.
Kuna pigwa makosa, imetoka sasa.
Like a story that Linda told me until now I think about it and I feel bad for her. She got beaten, you know, without asking. Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Like alipigwa without even, the dad didn't even ask, like, did you do? No, alipigwa first. And then she was just doing her own thing in the kitchen and then ashtuka mtoto anapigwa.
Exactly. Those are the houses we grew up in.
Those are our homes.
You're just minding your own business and someone just comes and beats you. It's like, what did I do?
Like, nimedu. Mtu atataki kujua, you know. And that's what, you as because as an adult, you're still that girl who was like beaten bila kulis.
It's true.
So you're having to also not be anxious around we pia ukiangusha kitu, we pia oh gosh.
And that's why sometimes even before I hit my kid, I need him to know why he's getting this punishment. I just don't hit him out of nowhere. I see simchapi too out of nowhere. No, he needs to understand. Like, do you know why mama slapped you? And he has to tell me. Like, he has to tell me why, and he has to tell me how he's gonna change and what he's gonna do differently next time. Like, we have to have this conversation. Natuchapani too ovyo, no. We sit down, nimekuchapa, why did I hate you? You tell me why, and you tell me what you're gonna do differently. And because mama warned you, did mama warn you? It's like, yes, you did. But did you do it? You continue. Now, what are you gonna do differently? And he tells me what he's going to do differently. And then that's when we let go now. It just doesn't...
Because the 2-year-old, ukiongea shawoka.
No, 2-year-old, wezi ukana. We fight with my 2-year-old. I tell him to stop, he tells me to stop. So it's different.
Then he starts laughing.
I know, it's different when they're two. So every time I'm just, I can't wait until you can grow up, because that's when I feel like we can start this.
Gosh,
it can be a fair fight.
I wonder, what do you do now when you've realized that this is going on with your child? Like, how do you, you've calmed down, you try and get that connection. So how do you act? Like,
after finding out
now, hey, now I know.
I think we even start with, before, after finding out, we need to start with when they're telling you. That's where everything starts.
Okay.
If I come and tell you, Mommy, let me use that if they've used Uncle too much.
Because I'm sorry.
Because I like.
Mommy, ule jirani alinishika hapa hivi. You may easily be like, have a reaction. Just let's assume I've told you that. Mommy, ule jirani alinishika hapa.
When was this? Like, was it in his house? Nezataka kujua the whole setting. Like, maybe ni jirani, I know, like, ni UP, like, nijue. Weh, so akiniambia, like, are you okay? Like, how did you feel? Like, nezataka... I believe you, and how would you like me to be there for you?
Linda, that's how you react.
I feel like kwanza siwezi react even mbele ya
Linda, vile unataka kuchapa jirani.
Ngoja ujue niambia enda kwa room, I'm coming. Uwe jirani.
Sema liko hivyo atenda kuchapana.
Mtu asipokuwa hapo kunisimamisha. I don't know, because what? Because do you move from that place?
Yeah.
Like, how do you?
It's a shock for you also.
When a child tells you such grievous thing as this, the first thing, as hard as it is, the first thing to do is to stay very calm. You know how you're not calm inside, you're boiling.
You cannot,
Summer's drinks are
but
stay as calm as you can. If you can, stay calm and then say, I believe you. Stay calm and say, I believe you. And then second thing, do not force. You say like, no, allow them to speak with the information they want to give now. What happens is if we panic or we ask too much information because we want the detail, we want to know, sangapi, akafanya nini, alafu nini. What happens is it makes them more anxious. Then they may easily retract from speaking up. Or even, ushikuwa in an anxious mode and adi ukumbuki kitu ulikuwa unakumbuka. So the first thing is you stay calm, as hard as it is. Tell them, I believe you. A very simple phrase you can say is, and I know it in your language, in the way you may rephrase it, but thank you for telling me. I believe you. You're not in trouble, and I will keep you safe. Because one, predators often lie to children that they'll be in trouble for speaking up. Mami atakuchapa ukimwambia, ama mami atakuwa friend yangu tena. Unataka tuache kuwa family tena? They do that. They do a lot of guilt-tripping children. So when you tell a child that, I believe you and you're not in trouble for telling me, and thank you for telling me, and I will keep you safe, you immediately create a sense of safety that was not there. Because immediately a child is abused, this sense of safety goes away. They feel like the world has really let them down. So you give them that affirmation of safety and do not push for information. You may want to, because you want to know everything. Allow them to give you the details slowly. Alafu, okay. I know inside you're like, kiss it properly, you know? But let them tell you as it is.
Really,
and then immediately when
yourself.
it is that, check them. Check them. You've gotten the detail to tell you what to check. And if you can't, take them to the nearest hospital as fast as you can and report the case. If it's a child that is not a case that is very complex, you can even call GVRC. They usually have a hotline that is open 24/7 for cases of abuse, including violence against children. Report it, but don't stay with that child at home or
like after kujua, like act
from it, because this child needs you. This child needs to know that you will keep them safe, because they may think this person will come and do this again. So you need to be the safe space of this child. So that's now the things that are coming. And a child who's been abused, the core foundation of what they need, one is protection, but regaining back their sense of safety. And this can only be done by one, being intentional about creating a relationship again with them, building that and love for them, and let them know that this is not everything about their life. It's just a part of their story, and you're going to be there for them, especially if they're much older. Then you can explain to them and assure them of safety. Yes.
I have a question. What if akishaniambia hivyo, like if I want to go beat that jirani, I take him so that he can see me beating this jirani and so that he can see that we are punishing the person who hurt him. Will that help the child? Yeah, will that help the child or will that traumatize him more?
It might traumatize them because especially if the predator said, unataka kusema ndio kitu inifanyikie, they already guilt trip them. So kitu kifanyikie, what if it's a close person? Then akole, mimi ndo nilifanya hivyo. But you reassure them that you can know. When they're younger, you won't speak a lot because they can't understand. But the older, you assure them that this person has been taken to court. This has happened. They will never step in this house again. Like they know you will never take them where these people are. Hopefully they're in jail rotting.
Does the law, okay, because I'm thinking that's really good, especially kuwapeleka hosi kwanza, because niko hapa na chapa neighbor na she needs medical care or needs medical care like right away. So does the law like actually work in that case? So tuseme ni neighbor, because that's what we started with. Like, does the law, like, can you promise your child that he's gonna be, punished and he's actually, because I can imagine closure for a kid. Because saka ni neighbor, muone tena hapo like the next.
That's the thing. That's why I was thinking like umchapa mbele au mtoto si closure. Because I feel like you don't understand that the court system. I don't think a child understands the court system mama what happens, but he understands kuchapwa na ameona oh my gosh, like my mom, like they went and they defended me and wamemchapa ule. I told them. I know, right? But like, I told my mom so and so hurt me and my mom went to hurt the person that hurt me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make them like feel like, okay, my mom did something, so that means now I can tell them, the people who are hurting me, because my mom is going to hurt them back and I don't have to be afraid,
They will trust your voice even if you tell them and they're not that. They will trust their voice. But then again, it's important if you can leave hiyo nyumba tu utoke hapo hiyo siku and never come back. You'd rather even go and stay with your mother until you find a new home and take your child away from the environment.
Tunahama nyumba kabisa.
Sasa mtu hawezi hama. Unaimagine cause
kuhama nyumba kabisa.
If you can.
Like,
imagine unamuona.
If you're being honest, there are so many cases that are not. You go, police,
that's what I was asking. Unaitishwa pesa.
They won't.
Mtu ana bribe.
Yes, ana bribe. They're out. Like I've seen so many cases of predators walking scot-free because there was no evidence.
I feel like
literally pardon.
Imagine
the main thing I see is no evidence.
Na abuser akaangi abuser. Like they're normal people. Abuser on their mind, and they're even the kindest people. Like sometimes hata si mtu unexpect akuruda ama sijui ako aje. Ka kuna mtu adeke atakuwa na like
Yeah. So the most important is to try. We always say, every decision you make, at the foundation and the core of it is the child. How do we protect this child from more trauma, from anxiety, from overthinking, from abuse again? If you can move. If that person can move and never be there, at okay. And if it's that family member, imagine cut them off.
Definitely.
Cut them off.
Even tell them that's no longer your uncle or whatever. Tell them that's not even no longer your uncle, no longer your auntie, or no longer your neighbor.
What's the case now when it's like now an older child who's, I can imagine it can be difficult for like a teenager sasa. Like how do you address with a teenager now? Like kumetoka 2 years, 3 years, around 5, 6. So now for high school or
when they're teens, it's even more complex because now this is they're more. They have better understanding of what happened. They may overthink about it. But again, the foundation sticks. Do not overthink. Promise them assurance of safety.
Really? I thought because they're older, it will be easier.
No,
because
like
now they like understand more. Really?
I feel like it's harder. It's harder. Because now kuna like rape happening. Like imagine it happening when she's gone to like a party. Then her feeling, imagine the scenario of her feeling like nika alitaka. Like that's a whole other conversation.
I feel like because they're older and they know about rape, they understand about rape. I feel like they'll be more understanding about like, what is happening and you can take them.
Yes, actually they understand better what is happening. But mentally, you see, this is someone who logically I may grow. So there's overthinking, there's depression. You see teens who face depression, especially when they're teens, maybe it was peer pressure, someone pressured them to go somewhere and then now they think it's their fault. So you have to really, that's why they're told to go for guidance, to see a therapist, so that mentally they are able to be reassured it was never your fault. And that's why when someone is abused, it's important to tell them you're very sorry and it was never your fault. A lot think it's their fault. Maybe I dressed like this. Maybe I went here if I didn't go here. But a child wouldn't think most of those things. But a teen will think of that. So it's important to really, if you can take them for therapy, that would be great. If you can reassure them. And if you can just spend time with them. Even for them, they need that sense of safety in their minds that, I'll be okay. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I'm saying they always say it's easier said than done. Like how we're saying you're not supposed to be calm, you're supposed to be composed.
It's not easy.
Your nervous system is screaming to act.
It's not.
But it's good to know. That's why we have this conversation.
It's good to know.
Even before it happens, it's there at the back of your mind where you know, like, okay, so yes, I know I'm feeling this way, but if I can act this way, this is going to be better for
Liz told me to be calm.
Like,
Liz told me I need to compose myself. Oh gosh, Liz, I'm trying.
So,
gosh, it's very hard.
Other long-term effects to kids who've been abused?
Abuse trauma goes deeper than most people think. And maybe where I would want to start off with is a lot of cases of abuse. The children were not believed or they were silenced. You see, we're in a society where we really we are afraid of shame more than anything else.
It's true.
So we think, what will people think? What will people say?
I know, that one has killed many people. What watase manini?
Yes, and predators thrive on that. They thrive on that. They're like, they won't speak up. It will be a family member and you'll be told, usiongee na usiambie mtu.
Utaibisha
familia. And I always say, shame is something that has made so many children have recurring cases of abuse because they spoke once. No one believed them, or people tried to justify, or people tried to silence them. So what happens? Predators know this is a pathway, and it happens again and again.
It's like you're creating a safe space
for the predator.
A
safe space for the predator, not this one. So what this does is you find that a lot of children experience a lot of sudden change in behavior that's crazy. You find some will even have a trauma response of now wanting to do that act too much and with everybody. Especially, I don't know if you saw, I think it was 2-3 months ago, there was this case of a 12 years old who's the auntie was saying, mtoto anataka tu kila mtu da everyone. It was everywhere on social media. And I felt so sad because this is a trauma response. There's no way a child will no, it could be a trauma response. What happens? It rewires their brain and tells them, this is a normal activity. But that child, and I was so happy to see some people say, that child is screaming for help. Because now it has affected their mind. So trauma does something to children that is, especially when it goes unnoticed or it's the child is not believed, the child is silenced, it stays with the child. Even if it doesn't go on and on, what do they tell themselves? Mentally tell me it was our fault. Waliambua ni juu nilivaa skirt fupi, ni juu nilivaa tights. They blame themselves. Then you find these children have very maybe strange behaviors. Suddenly they're very aggressive. Suddenly they hate talking to people. And then you're like, uya anakuanga tu hivyo. However, I keep on saying again, communication. Behavior is communication. A child acts because they want you to see. Because if I tell you, you won't listen. So trauma, that's even a deeper topic because it goes deeper than you will imagine. That's why I always say foundation. Believe your child. You'd rather believe and then figure something if it's true or not.
Later, but
believe them, protect them with everything we have. We have a lot of adults who are working with trauma that has held on since childhood.
I know of an adult. I know of an adult man who he told me like he was sexually molested when he was 6 years old, and now he's 35 and he still carries it with him.
It will not.
He said it's affected his sex life, and he's 35 and it happened when he was 6 years old. And he's a man. Amesema imemwafect sex life yake, relationship with people, with women. Until now he's single. He's saying he has commitment issues. Like just from that, So that's much. It's like I'm seeking help. Like I'm an aqua therapist, but it's still like it takes next time, and he's 35 years old right now. And it happened when he was 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because the longer it takes, the harder it is to, when you're on a train, ukikosea bus stop ya kwanza, the longer you go with the train, the harder it is to go back to your station. Same case with abuse and the trauma running deep.
Parents, we have like such an important job to
so
like
important.
Not let your child have to face that when they're in their 30s. You know, like how do you protect Yani? And what's like the best foundation to kuna prevention or more like avoidance? Like, is it raising a confident kid? What else? And how do you raise a confident kid?
A confident kid, first of all, is a confident who knows that their voice matters, who knows that I am listened to, you know, so they will speak up. That's a good foundation. Okay. A confident kid will come and say, Mommy, how are you today? And you will converse with them. Yeah. So they know that they're listened to, their voice matters. A confident kid also is that child who has been spoken life to. So they're very confident in themselves because, you know, Mommy says I'm brilliant. Yeah. Mommy says I'm a champion. Yeah. So they grow up like that. But if you're always insulting your child, you're making them timid, yet you're their role model. You're the person they look up to, but you're the person who speaks the worst things to them. You change who they are. Again, what did I say? Predators love children who are timid. But if you're loud, don't let them. And loudness doesn't even mean extraversion. No, you can be quiet, but and you can speak up.
Very expressive.
So that's why voice matters. So
with those words of affirmations, like I do that with my child. But another thing that I'm doing, what I realized we were not, when we were brought up, it was not done. It's like giving your child choices, making him like make decisions about his life, even if it's small things. For him, he feels it's such a big deal. So I'll be like, you know, do you want to go shower now or later? And he'll be like, no, I want to finish this and then I'm going to shower, you know, and then he feels like, oh, I made this decision. I'm choosing. And I'm like, you know, you can pick your own clothes. It's like, he picks in his own clothes. And then when he does, I make sure to tell him like, oh my gosh, that's such a cool outfit. Even though it's the worst outfit ever. It doesn't match. And I'm like, gosh, that's what you picked up. But I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so cool. And you can even see him. He'll go to the mirror and be like, oh yeah, okay, you think it's cool? I'm like, yes, you picked the best outfit ever. Like just make him pick up those decisions, even though they're small. I can see it in him. Like it makes him feel like a person. You know, we treat these children as if they're not people. They're
actual people with
people.
Feelings.
And I remember another person on the TikTok said, the moment we realize we're raising humans and not kids, you're going to treat them differently. It's a whole human being. They have their own likes, their own dislikes. Preferences. And we keep on, with us parents, I feel like because they're kids, we keep on forcing them.
I realized that the other day, like, okay, so with 2-year-olds with clothes come out, kujivalisha. For me, I make them choose between 2 options. Like, do you want this outfit or this outfit? And chagua, that's what we go with. Now with like choosing, my son the other day, ametaka tulipika ugali, mboga, fish, avocado. Anataka ugali na avocado peke yake. And that's his preference.
Exactly.
And I was just like, why do I need to force him nimweke hapo soup na hataki alafu akose kukula? And I wonder,
juwe pia kuna chakula upendi. Imagine somebody forcing you to eat that.
No matter how weird.
Imagine unaniforce me kula matumbo. Tutapigana because I don't eat that. You know, it's a preference. They are people. We really need to. We make them like choose their own decisions. Like just the minor ones, not major ones. You know,
not financial decisions.
Just the small ones. And they feel like people, you know, they feel like we're listening to them and like, oh, okay. And it makes them like they can speak out more now because they're like, you know, they're listening to me, you know?
So apart from confidence, what else?
So other than confidence, I will summarize it into 3 things. If you're having or you want to have these conversations with your children, if I was to summarize everything into 3 things, is 1, make sure that you teach your child about, as we said before, body ownership and boundaries, the way we've discussed. That's important. 2nd, emotions. Helping your children understand their emotions, understand that things can be confusing and that there's a space for them to express their emotions. Things like, why are you crying? Why are you crying?
I know, I asked that a lot.
Why are you crying? Unalia kwa nini? But even you, there are days you cry yourself to sleep.
And me, I'm like, stop crying, or like give you a real reason to cry.
Reason to cry. Why? What happens?
I know, I'm guilty of that.
Same, at a toddler.
I'm guilty. Yeah.
Imagine atanyamaza tu mwenyewe. Hata unaweza mwacha lia, maliza, and then now get to connection part. Allowing them to know that emotions are allowed.
Yeah.
Because what happens is abuse gives a very confusing emotion. And we've seen it especially with the boys. So many cases of abuse, boys being abused are never told. Because why is a boy being emotional? Aliabusiwa hakuongea because boys are not supposed to be emotional. Man up.
Justice for boy child. I know, right?
Girls are allowed sometimes like, okay, what's wrong?
Baby girl.
But boy, you're like, no. And that is the second thing that's so important. It's emotion. Allowing children to understand emotions, to express their emotion, even helping them understand their emotions, and then creating that space for them to talk to you. Be a parent who listens. Imagine listen to your child. Sometimes wanaongea tu vitu like, what are they even saying? But listen. Let them know you listen. Let them know you care. When they talk about their mini frustration, don't what is it called when you're trying to tell me something? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, just shoving them off. Dismiss them.
Don't dismiss them because again, if anything happens, they'll think, Mommy will just dismiss me.
Like,
so yes, that's a very important thing to have. Helping them understand emotions and ensuring that you create a safe space for them to talk to you and them knowing they can always talk to you at any time. Then number 3. Very important. Talk to your children about safe adults in their lives, like 2 or 3 or just 2. Tell them who are their safe adults. If anything happens to you,
but how are we sure those are those?
You are their safe adult. You're their safe adult.
Me, I only say mama. Even dad, I'll just touch on it, but
that'll be like a whisper.
You need them to have a safe adult because imagine if you're not accessible.
So
So you have to teach them about safe adults. But then you tell them, even if I do something to you that is not pleasing,
go to the other.
Go to Shosho. Maybe the safe adult you've given them is Shosho. Let them know it's Shosho. So they know I can always come to Mommy and Shosho. Those are my trusted adults. And then I usually tell children, I think if you've seen them on my Instagram, I should tell, if you tell Mommy and Mommy doesn't listen, who do you go to? I will tell teacher. So they know I have to tell someone until someone does something. That's the point. The point is you don't want a child to stay with whatever they have. You need to be there so that they can get help. Because if something happens and daddy did it and they can't tell you, then daddy
that's closed.
That's closed. But you want them to know if you don't get help, you go and tell someone else. You try this someone else. So we even have a paper. If there are 5 or 6 we have a paper with 3 spaces, and they will tell them, draw 3 safe adults. Some will draw God, Mommy, and this. Some will draw Daddy, this and this. So we give them that so that they know you will always be listened to with someone. Speak until you find someone to help you. But of course, this is when they're a little older, not two they don't understand that.
They don't.
So that's the basic foundation. So teach them about body ownership and boundaries, emotions, and open relationship with you. And also it's important to talk about safe adults because we need them to know that they're protected. This happens here, they can talk to this one. If something happens in school, who do you tell? Come to Mommy. If daddy does something, come to Mommy. If Mommy is not around, tell Shosho. Yes, so that's an important conversation.
So now do you have these are the unsafe adults.
I know.
You run.
You don't have the unsafe adults.
Do you have deals to tell them or time tells or you just
can't
don't
really tell
can't really tell them
because you don't know. You can't ever know who you are.
Just strangers in general, I guess.
But then now the conversations around if anyone does anything, no matter who it is.
That's not a safe adult.
That is not a safe adult, and you tell me.
Because I remember when these kidnapping cases started, I had to sit down with my son and explain to him about the kidnapping, explain to him that, about strangers. We really had to have this conversation because, kids were getting kidnapped left and right. So I was like, when I was talking to him, I remember he was just they just look at you. Sometimes they're like, they try to comprehend, So now you have to explain kidnapping. What is kidnapping? I remember I was just talking until I was like, because if you get kidnapped, Mama is going to go crazy. Do you want Mama to go crazy? And then he was like, no, I don't want Mama to go crazy. Because I was like, are you understanding? Because I need him to understand the depth of this, like how this thing is very seriousness. So I want him, it's so hard for kids to take things serious sometimes. Yeah. For them, everything is just like, he's like, okay, I'm getting kidnapped, but what's bad about that?
Maybe they might give me food.
Exactly. They don't understand the seriousness of an issue. Like making a kid understand that, for me, I feel like, it's so difficult because they don't.
A comedian who said, his kids the truth as it is. Mm-hmm. Like the people who kidnap kids and they go sell them, they go
that's what they say.
Like you're saying, this is what happens actually. So if you want to go, like they're just adults who want to do these horrible things. The world is this kind of place. Like
they need to know this world is not. It's like a fairy tale. Sometimes they feel so safe and they feel like everything is jolly molly. Like they don't know, like there's bad people out there who want to do bad stuff to them. I feel like we really need to tell them about that.
So those are these unsafe adults.
And even like what she was talking about, listening to your kids. The other mistake parents do is they listen while they're on their phones. They're like, talk. Because sometimes I catch myself doing that and I have to put my phone away. Because I'm like, if I'm talking to somebody, I wouldn't want them to be on their phone too. Because that's like, actually, you're kind of dismissing what I'm saying.
You're not there.
I know. Sometimes I'll be there like on my TikTok, hi, I'm laughing the funniest video ever. And then this kid comes with the most unbothered story ever. And I just have to be like, But I'll just smile. I was like, I just have to listen. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, when are you going to be done? Because sometimes, they just tell us stories that are just don't even make sense, but you still have to listen.
Because I can imagine that age. Because at 2, yes, they talk, but not that much. I've met 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. They tell you everything.
Oh my gosh, Linda, they talk. Oh Lord, they will tell you stories left and right, and you just have to listen. And then sometimes even my son is like, "Are you listening? Did you hear?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm listening. I heard you." And then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened, and then they repeat themselves. They're at the age where their storytelling techniques are still not evolved. So it's so bad. Like they will repeat and they will sometimes it doesn't even make sense. You have to pick it out. I don't even want to ask a question because if I ask a question, I'm going to be explaining. I don't. So you just have to listen to them. Just put your phone down or whatever you are doing, just stop and just listen to them. And then, one day you will miss them talking to you. They'll grow up and they won't want to tell you anything. Gosh, you'll be calling them and looking for them to tell you stories. It's like, I know. They grow up.
But I'm glad we want to be intentional parents. As we should. We're literally unlearning and breaking those cycles. Gosh. More. And then
I think that's essentially of that. But also other conversation to have with children when they're younger is teach them about, explain to them safe and unsafe secrets. A safe secret, what is a safe secret? Safe secrets bring joy, like a birthday party. That's safe and it's always told later. That's a safe secret, always told later. What is an unsafe secret? If anyone tells you not to tell, that is unsafe. Secondly, if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, unsure, or angry or has a negative notion, that is an unsafe secret and you have to tell mommy. And who do you tell? You tell mommy or who else? Or you tell Shosho. Yes, so that they know what is, if a secret is unsafe, what does that mean? So when you explain that, then also that creates a foundation, like a very covering of safety, because mtoto amwambia, usiambie mami. Uncle sama, I'm using uncle. Jirani alisema, nisiseme. So they'll know the difference between safe and unsafe secrets.
I never thought of safe and unsafe secrets. Because for me, I just told him in general,
Like no secrets at all.
No secrets at all. I don't think there's anybody who wants to like plan for me a surprise birthday party and is going to tell my son. But, if it ever happens,
Which is more important.
So, I never thought of that actually. That's news for me.
Same.
That's interesting. So now in this world of technology, how are we like protecting our kids from the phones.
Yeah. And TV, because YouTube as well gives weird exposure, you know.
But at least, you know, with the TV, it's big and you can see. Yeah. Because with the phone, what I realized, because with my son, who is 6 now, but when he was 4 years old, he already had a phone in a tab. When he was 4, a phone and a tab. Yeah. So now when he's sitting at the corner there, you don't know what's happening because you know it's a small device, you know. Yeah. So sometimes when he puts it down is when like sometimes we're checking what he's doing. Yeah. And I think the dad saw like he was downloading stuff and some stuff was even inappropriate. He's just downloading, he doesn't even know. Yeah. And that's when we had to cut off the phone and the tab because we realized we don't have like to monitor him with those things is just a lot of work because with the TV it's big, we can sit there. Even if I'm on my phone, I know what's happening. But with this phone and the tab is at the corner doing his own thing, we don't know what's happening. So now we just cut it off. So no tab, no phone.
So is that the solution?
Yeah,
like,
that was
because
I don't want, because people are like, oh, you can put it on kids' safety, we can do this, and I'm like, you know, it's not worth the hassle. He's 4, he's 5, he'll get a phone when he's older. And
even if kuna hizo safety features, kuna games that kuna inbox that these people pretend to be kids to talk to your kids.
It's just a lot of hassle, Linda, because right now the technology has evolved so much. It's just, and for me, and you know me with technology, the last thing I want to do is to sit down and figure it out. I don't. I'm already trying to figure out my own technology. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So it's like, you know what? It's not worth it. He's just 5 years old. He's not missing anything. He can watch the TV and that's it.
True.
So what's your take on that?
First of all, digital safety. When it comes to the digital space, we have to remember that it was never created with children in mind. In the first place. It was not created with children. It's just now that things are starting to come up. Okay, what do we do to protect children? Yes, but it was never created with children in mind. And when we think about that, then it will help us make better decisions. Because nowadays you find very young children with phone, you're like, we're kona simu peke yake.
It's the
ama hata kona simu. Like what? And sometimes you can't control it because children have phones early nowadays. So when children are younger, imagine when they're very young, like you talked about your 4-year-old, when he was 4, 5, 6, you have, as the parent, you're the parent, you have to put protective measures. If taking that tab and phone away was the best option, now there's a TV which is controlled, imagine that was the best decision you make. If it means having rules in the house, no phone in the bedroom, devices are used in the common area, living room, so everybody monitors. If it's putting those safety measures, put them. Because these children are younger. They have ataenda kuscroll hadi kuja and it's a very strange thing.
It's true.
Na ni mtoto mdogo, then they're getting exposed to what's even happening. So I always say when children are younger, imagine, put all the protective measures you can. If you can avoid that phone, avoid it. Like for us, our child can only watch from the main area, the one we've given, so we know everything she watches.
Exactly,
and even the content she watches, I've watched it personally. First to end, I'm not risking it. And we only watch specific shows because I know what it is. You just have to do it. But then now when they're older, they're teenagers, it's less surveillance, more guidance. Because you can imagine things, the more you push, the more they want to do what you say.
Oh my gosh, that's a human mind. We talked about parenting, the mom was saying, kitu unakatazwa, hiyo ndio
unataka ufanye.
So with them we say it's less surveillance, more guidance. This is where you need to get closer. This is when you have conversation with them. You can tell them, what do you like watching online? Okay. So do you know, then you explain to them, not everyone is who they say they are. Someone can have an image and they're saying they're 18 years old, they're this, and they could be actually 50. And you're their main target. So you teach them that not everyone is who they say they are. Then you teach them what to share and what not to share online. So they know if anyone asks for this and this, don't share your location. You don't need to share your photo with someone you don't know. They also don't have to share with you. And if anything is sent to you or is done to you that is inappropriate, what do? You come to me. You tell me. But then another very important conversation you have with them, especially when they're teens, in that age where peer pressure is very rampant and they can be easily influenced to do things. You now teach them to trust their voice. You remind them, no one should force you to do anything you don't want. And it's okay. If everyone else is doing it and you don't want to do it, don't do it. That's okay. It tells a lot about you. So the general part of it is when they're teenagers, it's less surveillance, more guidance, because you want them to work with you. You don't want to rebel against you. Like, because cases of online grooming are too many.
Like you're telling them that just because people are doing it, you don't have to do it. I'm doing that with my son too, because he will come to the house and say, Mama, my friend's parents allow her to have a phone. Why don't you allow me to have a phone? Because now he knows, because you know they go to school and they're talking and the kids are like, I have a phone. You don't have a phone. And I'm like, that's okay. That's what they're doing in their house. But in this house, we are not doing that. There are stuff that we're doing in this house, they're also not doing. I allow you to have candy after dinner. She doesn't have candy after dinner.
Count yourself lucky.
We buy you this up. They're not doing that stuff. You know, it's different houses, different parents, and different rules. And these are the rules of this house. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then it goes about to say, because you just have to explain to, because, you know, it's a valid question, you know. I have my friend, he has this, why don't I have it, you know? And their kids, they need, you know, see, it's like, you know, it's because I said so. Because I said so doesn't work with these kids these days.
Like, why? What do you mean?
These kids these days, they want a whole presentation of why.
Because I said so, it's valid.
It's valid.
Nivo.
Did we even question our parents? How? We don't even question. These days they come and they question. They're telling me, Mama's people in school are not they're wearing homeschooled. Why am I always wearing the uniform? I'm like, that's what they're choosing. Maybe they can't afford the school shoes. Have you thought about that? Maybe they can't afford the school socks. That's why they're going with homeschool. So we can afford the school socks. You're wearing school socks. Okay. And then he just goes away. So any advice you want to give to the moms about child safety?
Yes, so this is to the moms and also the dads.
And the dads. We have single dads out there, by the way.
A lot of times we fear having these conversations with our children because we don't know where to start. We are afraid of instilling fear in our children. But I need to gently remind you that love alone does not protect children. Awareness, communication, and connection is what protects children. So please have that conversation. You can actually do it, and it will really, really be better in the long run because it can help keep our children safe. But all in all, I think we're all doing our best with what we know. So it's a day at a time and being intentional with raising our little humans.
That's true. Wow, that's so nice. That's a nice advice.
Intentionality is everything. But today, honestly, I've learned a lot on how to deal with these things, how to identify, how to communicate to them as well. Like this has been very insightful. You know. And
thank you so much for coming here, taking time off your busy schedule to come and talk to us and enlighten us, educate us about child safety and protection. That's all we have for today. You've been with me, Latifa.
And me, Linda. And
Elizabeth.
Bye.
Bye.